No one foresaw what was to come for the San Pedro High School softball program when the new century kicked in, but it got started with an unbelievable two-day 20-inning 1-0 victory over Carson in the year 2000 for the program's 8th CIF Los Angeles City Section Championship. After another successful season, San Pedro returned to UCLA with an opportunity of repeating as champions in 2001. Already a two-time champion, senior pitcher Natalie Tam continued to befuddle the Colts with her devastating changeup. With 2 on and 2 out in the top of the third, Texas-bound Wynter Turner hit a comebacker, but the throw got away, allowing Stephanie Spihar to score from second base, and San Pedro would take the early 1-0 lead. But in order to defeat Carson for the second straight season, the Pirates knew one run would not be enough. In the top of the 6th, Kate Groden hit a hot shot to the hot corner, but another throwing miscue allowed Ashley Esparza to score on the 2-base error. Still with 1 out in the top of the 6th, the Pirates smelled blood, and freshman Nicole Castagnola went for the kill.
That's a base hit. Pass Samara in center field. Groden scores.
Castagnola's first pitch double into the left center field gap would seal the deal, as Tam, the eventual 3-time City Player of the Year, capped off a 2-hit shutout performance with 4 strikeouts by inducing this final ground ball right to Esparza to finish off a repeat championship.
2001 City of Los Angeles Girls High School Softball Champions.
With the 3-0 victory over the Colts, San Pedro would finish 27-3 in 2001, as Tam and Turner both shared Player of the Year honors for the city section. During the 2001 regular season, the Pirates and Colts split, sharing the Marine League title. But there was no sharing this time around in the year 2002 when the rivals hooked up for a 3rd straight City Section Division I final. Groden got the final started off right for San Pedro with this 4-count single to lead off the ballgame. Groden finished 2 for 3 on the day, but in the top of the 4th, San Pedro committed 3 straight fielding errors with 1 out before somehow getting out of that bases-loaded jam unscathed on this inning-ending backhanded stab for a putout at first by Marissa Gonzalez. The Colts also threatened with a runner on third and nobody out in the bottom of the 5th, but clutch pitching from Esparza and a great defensive play by the shortstop Groden kept the game scoreless. Esparza led off the top of the 6th inning with this towering shot over the right fielder's head. Esparza ended up at second base with a double. With 2 outs, Esparza was on third base when this happened.
Coach went out and said, "Here we go."
The backstop screen. Esparza scores.
That one wild pitch allowed Esparza to score the game's only run, and she would be the one to slam the door shut.
The Pirates are the 3-time champions.
Esparza's 2-hit shutout with 6 strikeouts propelled the Pirates to the 1-0 victory and a 3rd straight CIF title. But when San Pedro and Carson met for the 4th straight final in 2003, it was the Colts who came in with the momentum in their favor after defeating San Pedro 3-0 in their final Marine League matchup. The Pirates relied on clutch defensive plays like this game-opening leaping grab from Jackie Conlon to back up Esparza, who is now entering her junior season. Esparza limited the Colts to no hits going into this particular play in the top of the 4th inning, when Conlon and Stephanie Tam sparked a 6-4-3 double play to end the inning. Now in the 8th inning with the game still scoreless, Tam came up big with this spectacular jumping grab that fired up her teammates and electrified the crowd. The Pirates made their final charge in the bottom of the 9th inning as Castagnola fought off this 0-2 pitch and whacked it into the 5-6 hole for a leadoff single. There was no question the sacrifice bunt would be in order when Tam came up to the plate, but Carson aggressively went to second base, and Castagnola slid in perfectly to beat the throw, putting 2 on for Esparza. On the very first pitch, the reigning City Player of the Year would finish off the Colts one more time with one mighty blow.
Line down the right field line. Here comes Castagnola with a play. The Pirates have won it again.
Esparza's double was just as devastating as it was decisive, as San Pedro edged Carson 1-0 for a 4th straight CIF crown in 9 innings. capping off an unforgettable 30-1 season, defeating the Colts for the third time in 4 meetings in 2003. Now it was the year 2004, and San Pedro and Carson battling for the top prize in city section softball was beginning to be just as annual as the Super Bowl. Carson set up the first scoring threat of the day by putting runners on the corners with 1 out in the top of the third, but a great play at third from Joy Allen kept the Colts at bay. It would only take the next 3 pitches from the Penn State-bound Esparza to silence the Colts and put an end to the threat. San Pedro's opportunistic offense was held in check through the first 3 innings, but in the bottom of the 4th inning, Tam led off the charge with this high bouncer of a ground ball off the glove of the third baseman for a single. An infield hit from Castagnola with 1 out put 2 on base. Then with 2 outs, it was time for head coach Tony Dobra to fully unleash who he called his secret weapon.
Iolama took something off. Tough play. It's going to fall in fair. Allen can't get it. 1 runner's in. Coming around third is Castagnola. She scores. It's 2-0 San Pedro.
Nicole Serrato's timely opposite field poke landed 8 inches fair down the left field line, plating Castagnola and Jessica Amador for the only 2 runs San Pedro would need on this day for their drive for 5 quest to come to a happy ending.
Conlon to Fuentes. The drive for 5 is complete. San Pedro, city champion.
San Pedro's 2-0 victory over Carson would cap off a city section record 5th straight championship, allowing Esparza to go out in style as a 4-time champion. The Pirates also tied El Camino Real for the most city titles won in softball with 12 before the Conquistadors ended the Pirates' reign in 2005. In 2006, the Pirates avenged that loss by defeating Elko 4-0 in the semifinals, setting up yet another Marine League Championship clash, this time against Harbor area neighbor Banning of Wilmington. Vanessa Spihai got the Pirates off and running in the top of the 1st inning, sliding safely into first base for a gutsy 2-run, 2-out infield single. The Pirates continued on the attack in the top of the 3rd with a towering single by Caitlin Oro, which brought in Perelini Koria from second base, and San Pedro led 3-0. Superb pitching outings in the circle were the norm for San Pedro softball whenever they came to UCLA. And this time, it was a sensational sophomore by the name of Taylor Petty who took center stage. A sizzling rise ball and several other pitches from Petty kept the Pilots off balance all day in Westwood. Equally impressive was the bat of Oro, as she hit this scorching shot up the middle for her 2nd RBI knock. Oro finished a perfect 4 for 4, and San Pedro led by 4 at the end of 5. In the top of the 6th, San Pedro had 1 more surprise left, as Brittany Benania, who transferred from Banning via hardship waiver, blasted an RBI double over a pulled-in outfield for the final run of the afternoon. Benania's hit was not only satisfying for the rest of her teammates, it even got a rare showing of emotion from Dobra. Petty woke up the morning of the championship game with a 102-degree fever, but neither that nor Banning was able to stop Petty and the Pirates from delivering a 5-0 knockout for San Pedro's 6th CIF championship in 7 years. Petty finished with a mind-blowing 1-hit shutout with 13 strikeouts in the victory, as San Pedro finished 30-2 in 2006. San Pedro returned to UCLA even more powerful in 2007, but got a big-time challenge from Kennedy of Granada Hills. A leadoff triple by the Golden Cougars got the Pirates' attention, but Petty quickly recovered, striking out the next 2 batters, then inducing a comebacker to escape the jam. San Pedro came into the final with Kennedy clubbing a then-California state record 40 home runs on the year, but they would need some old-school hitting tactics to get their offense on track in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Corin Cuico hit a 1-out single. Then with 2 outs, this RBI single from Palos Verdes transfer Vanessa Zamudio got the Pirates ahead. Hannity Gaetano easily scored, but on the same play, Cuico was thrown out at home plate to end the inning. Just 1 run was once again the magic number for San Pedro softball at UCLA. and Petty made sure it held up by
All
hurling a
three
two-hit
looking.
shutout on the day with
Another
9
strikeout, 9 in the
strikeouts.
ball game.
Stunningly, San Pedro left 11 runners on base and 6 of them in scoring position. But it was still not enough for Kennedy in their defiant attempt to end the Pirates' mystique.
Benigno with the perfect throw, and the Pirates are the champions again.
San Pedro's 1-0 win over Kennedy provided the Pirates their second straight city section title, their 7th crown in 8 years, a second straight 30-2 season, and the overall lead for most championships won by a city section school in softball with their 14th crown, surpassing El Camino Real's 13 championships. Much to the chagrin of everyone else in the section, San Pedro and El Camino Real met once again for the title in 2008, providing an opportunity for Petty, Koria, and Korin Cuico to gain closure for their high school careers after losing the 2005 championship to El Camino as freshmen. Down a run in the bottom of the second inning, San Pedro would call upon Korin's younger sister Kailee Cuico to swing for the fences.
Hit down the left field line and deep, back, home run! I'll say she's a big game hitter.
The 4th home run of the playoffs by Kailee not only knotted the score at 1, it was the first high school home run ever hit at UCLA's Easton Stadium.
Was going away.
With 1 out in the bottom of the 6th and the game still even at 1, in came the Arizona-bound Koria, who emphatically made sure her final at-bat was a memorable one.
Hits that one to center field and deep. This one's away out there and gone. And Perelini Koria, her 45th home run of her brilliant career. And San Pedro has played long ball, and they lead this championship game 2-1.
Korea's majestic 260-foot bomb galvanized the Pirates, but they continued to keep the pressure on El Camino, putting 2 on base, still with 1 out, when DiGaetano ripped a critical RBI single for a huge insurance run. After that timely hit, San Pedro put their 8th championship of the decade on lockdown, with Petty striking out the side.
Swing and a miss!
San Pedro defeated El Camino Real 3-1 for their second three-peat, and the Long Beach State-bound Petty hurled a 2-hitter with 14 strikeouts to win her 3rd crown in 4 years. No one expected San Pedro to be back at UCLA in 2009, but when they returned, everyone expected Banning to sink the Pirates' ship. But Kailee Cuico, Holly Stevens, and the rest of the Pirates had other plans. A simple 1-2-3 double play ended the Pirates' first chance at scoring in the top of the 1st. Then in the bottom half of the inning, Cuico brought in the Pirates' first run on a hard single that drove in freshman Coral Costa. A tenacious Banning team scored 2 runs in the top of the 2nd to take the lead. Then in the bottom of the 4th, junior Courtney Costa evened things up again with her opposite field single to right. An error later on in the inning allowed San Pedro to regain the lead briefly before Banning scored 4 runs at the top of the 5th to go up 6-3. With 4 outs left, the Pirates clutched up with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th, starting with this RBI infield single by Chloe Oro. What soon followed on the very next pitch of the inning would be absolute madness.
Popped it up. Rivera and the second baseman Melendez misplayed the ball. 1 is in. Here's the throw to the plate. She's safe. Tie game.
That inexplicable mistake gave the Pirates brand new life, and suddenly it was a 6-6 game after 6. More high drama would unfold in the top of the 7th inning.
Hit well to left. Simpson going back. This ball's well tagged to the wall. What a catch by Brianna Simpson. Maybe the catch of the year.
In the case of San Pedro, that play by Brianna Simpson was the catch of the decade. Then with Stevens on 3rd and 1 out in the bottom of the 7th, in stepped up Kayla Monroy to put a glorious finish on a decade of dominance.
Hit back to the box. It goes right through. The pitcher Lozano coming in as Stevens. San Pedro has won again. Unbelievable comeback.
This amazing 7-6 comeback win netted San Pedro their 9th city championship in 10 seasons in the 2000 era. Dobra earned his 13th title as head coach, And for the program as a whole, it was a Sweet 16, defeating Banning for the fourth time in 2009 and ending the decade with 10 Marine League titles and 281 victories.